Hello, still Christmas, still got a tree in the background. So, as you all know, it's still Christmas. It's still the time of joy and joy and whatever's. So I need to give you a bit of an update. It's too much. As promised, you need a bit of an update, but I don't know where to start. And I've got to be careful on how I put things as well, because I don't want to offend people. I've done so much of that, and at the same time, there are certain things that's difficult to let go of. So I think I have to say, I think I have to start off saying 5 years ago, roughly now, the trouble started, and as you know, there was a lot of nastiness, a lot of unpleasantness, a lot of bullying, a lot of stuff I don't particularly want to revisit. I don't even want to, while I'm touching those. A lot of stuff I don't really want to revisit. I think it's because I'm finding it difficult to make this video. That's probably what it is, and so I'm fidgeting. There's so much water gone under the bridge. There's so much shit been happened and said and one thing and another. And I thought I could do it. You know, I got so angry a few years ago, so angry at what had happened, so angry at the lies and the deceit and the troublemaking and the shit stirring and it just would not stop, and it went on, month after month after month, into Christmas, out of Christmas, into the next Christmas, out of the next Christmas. I've said it before. I used to talk about it all the time. Every time we did a stream, I would mention it, and I haven't mentioned it for a long time. I hardly mention them anymore. And so what that does is that leads to you out there, that leads, or anybody that has anything to do with me, which is not very many people nowadays anyway, but it leads you to sort of thinking, yeah, try and put myself in your position. What if I was one of the customers of this person? What if I was one of the followers of this person? What would I be thinking? You know, and there are times, I mean, I shudder, I horrify, I go like this at some of the videos I've done and some of the ways in which I've fought my corner. Sometimes I wish the ground would open up and swallow me, you know, and I think back and I think, oh my God, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd said that. It was the wrong thing to do. It was the wrong way to put your fists up. It was the wrong way to fight. But you just don't know. You fight the only way you can fight, and you carry on the only way you can carry on, and every person is different over that. Everyone's different, and I feel I've done my best. Now, I think what's led to me making this video is a few days ago, well, say a few days ago, about a week ago, I came with testicle of seriously falling out with one of my previous investors, because I just went to answer their email. I took a couple of things they said the wrong way. I got instantly defensive and out it will come. And in a sense, I sort of had a go at this investor. This is somebody that was investing some money and wanted a return. At the end of the day, that's what it was down to. That's all any of you did in the beginning when you invested some money. It was simple. It wasn't rocket science. It was simple. I'm going to give you that much money. You're going to give me that back with that on top. That's it. And it just didn't work out that way. Now, you know, I can blame all sorts of things. I can, of course, blame my illness. Nobody can argue with that. Nobody can argue with the fact that you have, you know, part of your insides taken out and scares, and nobody can blame you for the fact that, you know, you lose people like John. You know, nobody could see that coming. Nobody could have foreseen that I'd have got so ill. Nobody could have foreseen that John would have come down with stage 4 like that, lung cancer. Nobody could have seen any of that. Just like nobody could have seen the pandemic coming. And nobody could have seen Warren coming, really, with what happened with him, Warren Light, and his chums and buddies and everything else. You know, no one could have foreseen any of that, because when it happened quick, and it was a serious WTF moment. One of those moments in life, you know, the illness was a WTF moment. What the fuck, you know, that's what the illness was. John was a WTF moment. Warren was a WTF moment. It came out the blue. There was no warning. Obviously, if there had been warning, I'd have chucked him off, locked him out of sight long time beforehand, before he could have infected so many people with the horrible, dirty, nasty lies and rhetoric and evil stuff that came out at that time. Oops. Might be knocking on the door, might not. It's me postman. Is he going to look in the box? Yes, he is. He's a fantastic postman, this new guy. Nothing is too much trouble for the guy. And I know I'm going to get a backlash just by mentioning his name. I always do. Anytime I mention his name, I get a backlash. I mean, Christ, I get, and you lot probably think, oh, yeah, shut up. I mean, you ain't had no trouble for ages and ages and ages. Believe you me, there isn't a month goes by where I don't get an email. I'm telling you, there isn't a month goes by where I don't get an email offering to help me. Seriously, offering to help me. Oh, I've told you before, you know, you're never going to do anything. You do this, you're never going to do anything. You do that. What you need to do is take my advice. I can help you. I can do this. I can do that. It's just, and I get this much of it, you know, and it comes through. And I don't mind admitting, the only way I can punch that man in the face, literally, the only way I can get that kind of feeling is when I get his emails, I read them so that he knows I've read them, because you get this thing now, don't you? Well, not say now, it's always been there with emails and stuff, where if you know what you're doing, I must admit I don't, but if you know what you're doing, when you send somebody an email, you can see a notification that tells you that that person has read your email. They may not have answered you, but you at least know that they've read it. That is my only way of punching him in the face, because I know, because he told me a long time ago, that part of his mental health issues and all the rest of it is when he sends people an email, he can't stand it if he knows they've read that email and they haven't replied to him. You know, it's one of those people that oh, read an email, that they've read my email. Oh, it's been 8 hours. It's been 3 hours. Oh, it's been 2 days. They ain't replied to me, and it winds them up. So I do that on purpose. I read the email, and I take my time to read the email. No matter what he sends me, I read it, and then I file it, and then I don't respond. And that leaves him hanging for days and days and weeks and weeks and weeks. He'll watch this now, and he'll hear me say this, and I will get no doubt, 2 things will happen. 1, I'll get a nasty email, and 2, it'll all be everybody else's fault. And that makes it sound like I'm doing that. It's like, oh, it's everybody else's fault. It's not your fault, Ian. So I want to be clear about something. As much as I I don't hate many people. I really don't. I dislike a few people, but I don't have that much hatred in my heart. I don't. But for that man, I do. For that man and the people that helped him. The people that helped him take me down, and that's exactly what they did. They took me down. Let's just not skirt around the issue. Let's not faff about over it. You know, I didn't win that fight. I gave a good fight. I gave a good punch up, but I got the shit kicked out of me, and I lost. And I have to acknowledge that. I have to admit that, even if, you know, all I can do is and stand in front of a mirror and acknowledge it. You know, I have to acknowledge I was beat. And they beat me because I could not stop I couldn't stop it. I couldn't stop the lies. I couldn't stop the nastiness. And so it still goes on today. And not just Warren, I don't blame him for everything. I blame him for starting it. Well, actually, I don't blame him for starting it because it started a long time before that with that chap called Lee Holt and that girly friend of his on Facebook. He was uh, knocking around with some girl, and they were part of groups or whatever. I didn't understand it all at the time, but there are things that I've come to understand now and over the last few years that I never understood at the time. One of the things I've come to understand is that, you know, you have these cliques, right? You can't get away from it. This is not me just going, oh, you know, woe is me, and it's everybody else is against me and all the rest of it. It's nothing like that. But you do have these cliques, and these cliques are no different in life to what you personally, each and every one of you, you know this from your own life, right? Maybe you're part of the bowling team. Maybe you're part of a football team. Maybe your kids are playing football and so therefore you go, or the grandchildren, whatever. Anytime you get a large group of people, you will always get your little cliques, right? You'll always get your cliquey people, and they like to be together in their own little clique. And sometimes these little cliques tend to get, you know, a bit nasty and unpleasant towards other people. And it really started with that. I have to say, it started long before Warren. And and what started with Lee Holt continues to this day. When I say continues to this day, I mean up until what, even only a month ago. I know I specifically, I have the screenshotted evidence on my phone. I have all sorts of folders, and I have certain folders, certainly for Lee Holt and his pals. And anytime any of you see something derogatory about me that you then screenshot and send to me, I keep and I put in a folder. Because one day I am determined to put Lee Holt in court. One day. I've never been able to get hold of his address. No one will come forward and give me his address. But if anybody gave me Lee Holt's address, I would immediately take court action, just so that I could force him into court and stand in front of the man. I would like to be nose to nose with that man. I would like to be this close, to be able to look him in the eye and seriously ask him, why? Why did you do that? Why did you tell so many lies? Why did you stir up so much trouble? Because the only answer I ever had from him was that he didn't like the way I did business and he didn't like my prices. And the fact that he didn't like my prices actually pertains to specifically, if we go back, it's specifically to the 2015 Britannia and Navy. That and that bloody Paddington Bear coin that I did was where the trouble started. The Paddington Bear started it all. And then the only thing he would ever say was he didn't like my prices and he didn't like my valuations, and he was talking specifically about the 2015 Britannia and the flipping Navy ship. And I actually wasn't wrong on that. Wasn't wrong then, and I'm not wrong now. You can't argue with the fact that both of those have got the same mintage as an England 2002 Commonwealth Games at the end of the day. But now, then nobody oh, there was so much name calling and stuff, and people called me all sorts. But now, here we are now, for 8 years later, and you're starting to see those prices as I foretold, because the mintage, you can't argue with the mintage. If the mintage is the mintage, the price will go to that amount of money, no matter how easy it is to get hold of them now. And the bloody Paddington Bear, I mean, jeez. I used, for those of you that don't know, I used the son's picture, and the picture that the son used was a mock-up, and I used the same mock-up. Shouldn't have done it. And there was this woman that, when she got her Paddington Bear coin, wasn't happy and wanted the exact coin in the picture that I had used, even though it was a mock-up, and would not accept an apology, would not accept a refund, wouldn't accept any extras, just wanted to badmouth me in this group. And the woman that was involved with Lee Holt allowed me to go into that group. And when I went into that group, both Lee Holt, if I remember rightly, I'll be careful now, it's a bit sketchy, but if I remember rightly, both Lee Holt and that woman ganged up on me. And they wouldn't let me talk. And no matter what, and I kept saying to them, look, hang on a minute, you're admins. You're supposed to be impartial. You can't dive in like this to beat me up verbally alongside the person. You're supposed to be at the back there, remaining neutral, letting me and this person have a debate and argument if we're having one, or me trying to placate the person. No, they wouldn't have any of that. They literally dived in, put a boot in, called me liar, called me all sorts of names, and it didn't matter that I tried to explain, look, I'm really, really sorry. I'm very sorry. It was a mistake. You shouldn't have used it. Yes, I know I shouldn't have used it. What can I do? But you shouldn't have used it. Yeah, I know, you said. Can I give you a refund? No, you shouldn't have used it. I know I shouldn't have used it. Please, let me placate you. Let me give you some extra coins. Let me give you your money back. No, I don't want my money back. I want that coin. But I can't give you that coin. But you shouldn't have used that picture. I know I shouldn't have used the picture. Fucking hell. Come on. And it went on and on and on. And in the end, I said, this is a witch hunt. I'm off. And from that day to this, with Lee Holt, and that's been 6 years now. Must be 6 years. Must be 6 years. Even up to a month ago, he was still spreading lies and deceit on Facebook groups that I'm not allowed into. Just as an aside, if any of you go into these groups and you see anything derogatory about me, please just, screenshot it and send it to me. And I don't expect you to get into arguments on my behalf. I don't expect you to put your head above the parapet and put a target on your back on my behalf, but just take a screenshot, send it to me. I'll be grateful for that, and I'll put it in the folder. Maybe I'll never, ever, ever get that man in court. Maybe I'll die before getting that man in court. It doesn't matter. They're there. In my head, I know. My head, my heart, I know. I didn't lie. I told the truth. Stitched up a lot and had loads of lies told about me. But of course, who's in that realm, who's going to believe me? Because what happens is with these people is that the minute if you make your own coin group on Facebook, no matter what coin group it is, spit in there are people that will contact you. Oh, we can help you. We know all the fraudsters. We know all the people that you should be blocking. We know. So what you should do is make us an admin, and we can help you, and we'll do that for free. Well, what do? Coin group owner after coin group owner after coin group owner after coin group owner will acquiesce, if that's the right word. They'll say, yeah, okay, because they want the help, because it starts getting, the minute you start running a Facebook group, it starts to become really awkward and difficult. And so you tend to find the same people as an admin on group after group after group after group after group. So when these people go, oh yeah, you don't want to allow a post from Ian Lambert in there. Ian Lambert's a crook. Ian Lambert's a fraudster. He did this. He did that. Lies after lies after lies after lies. And it just went on and on and on. And it does go on and on and on. And of course, these group owners, they believe what their admins are telling them. Well, of course, I'm going to believe what Lee Holt's telling me. He seems to know what he's talking about because he's change range. And so on it goes and on it goes and on it goes. And I end up just, might as well just be bashing my head against a brick wall. There are people bad-mouthing me, talking about me that I've never even heard of. They've never spent a pound, let alone an investment. I mean, if anybody wants to bad-mouth me and tell the truth, what they should be saying is Ian accepted investments from people and never paid them back because he had issues of whatever, you know, and maybe say things like, well, it doesn't matter what issues he had. He took money off of people and he couldn't pay them back. That's one thing that people could say. Although, if you were going to tell the truth, you would say Ian took money off of people. He ended up in the shitter. He couldn't pay them back. So he offered them and he tried to pay them back in other ways, which they didn't want to know, some of them. Some of them did. Some people accepted. I've paid back over, I mean, I once told you I was over £250,000 in debt. I have paid back over 120,000 pounds in product. One way or another, I've paid that back to those people to the point where they've been satisfied. And as far as I'm aware, none of those people that I've settled have gone on and slagged me off anywhere because they were offered the settlement and they took it. And the one thing that I did for every single person that I settled with was, like, somebody would say to me, I put £3,000 in, so I want my £3,000 back. And I worked out exactly what they were owed, because of course exactly what people are owed is on the leaderboard. And I would work out exactly what they're owed and say, well, actually, I owe you more than £3,000. I owe you, say, £5,000 or 4,500 or 5,500. So if you're going to spend stock to the value of what I owe you, then you need to pick 5,500 or whatever it is I owe, not the 3,000 that you put in. And I would say fair's fair, right? You put the money in, you expect a return. I'm selling the product for this much money. I can't faff about and go, well, I'm going to discount that by X amount in order to pay you back your 3,000. And it gets too complicated. So it's a lot easier to say, look, I charge £10 for that. That's what I charge. That's my price, £10. So if you want 5 of those, that's 50 quid off the bill. But so you pay my price, but in fairness, the bill is the right price, what it's supposed to be. Not the money that you put in, but the money that you was put in plus what you were supposed to get back. So I tried so hard to be fair with everybody, and even put videos up and stuff and to let people know, and emails and all of that, to say, look, you know, the pseudonym thing ain't going to happen. There's various things ain't going to happen now. If you want to cash it in, and I'll give it to you in stock. And loads of people took me up on that. Loads of people took me up on that. So I don't actually feel bad for those people, because I feel that those people, one way or another, they got their money back, plus they got some on top, you know. And plus, if you're going to take this off me for a tenner and you're going to go off and sell it, and you want the money next week, well, you ain't going to get the money next week if you go and sell it for a tenner, are you? Because if it was that easy to sell it for a tenner and that quick, I'd be selling them all day long, and then I'd use the tenners to pay you back. So it don't work like that. You know, you buy something off me for a tenner and you want the money next week, so you want to put it up now and sell it and have the money in your bank next week or the week after. You've probably got to sell it for 6 quid or £5 in order to guarantee selling it quick, right? So, and I knew that right from the beginning. So I said, I've got to pay you. If I'm paying you back in goods, I've got to pay you what it is you should have got. So if you put 3,000 in, and your uh, overall return, say over 3 years or whatever it was 50%, then 3,000 plus 50%, 1,500, 4,500, easy peasy, right? 4,500. So you spend 4,500. That's the way I did it. And you know, some people said, yeah, but your stuff's a bit more expensive. Well, you ain't going to do that deal by me pricing the item at the cheapest that what it is on eBay. No, no, no. I mean, I can't do that. So otherwise, there wouldn't be enough for more people. So who's that? Oh, it's Franco. Anyway, I've got to be careful I don't digress too much. So don't know where I was now, why I was even talking about this, but so I suppose what I'm trying to say is that there are times I've been trying to be fair. Even though things have gone tits up, I've tried to be fair. Things went tits up with the illness, and then the illnesses didn't stop, as you know. Then we had the Lee Holt thing, then we had the illness, then we had the Warren thing, then we had more illness, then we had more Lee Holt, then we had heart attacks, then we had more illness, then we had more of this, more shit from Warren and Lee and all their buddies and all the rest of it. And on it's gone. And one thing that I've said all the way through is, if you've got an investment with me, the last ice right, but I was falling out with an investor. If you've got an investment with me, you really need to look after that investment, because if I go under, you get nothing. So, and I ended up having a go at this person. I shouldn't have done, and I apologised afterwards. I shouldn't have put things the way that I did. But I'm going to be honest in saying what I said. You know, and they quite rightly said, "Look, I'm not putting any more money in." You know, so they got the ump. I'm not putting any more money in. Why should I put money in? Why should I keep putting good money after bad and so on? And of course, my response to that was, well, it doesn't have to be money necessarily. You know, I've said all the way through this, look after your investment. If you've got an investment, look after it. If you've got a single penny on the leaderboard, look after that. If you ever want to see that money or the equivalent of that money, you need to look after it. You need to do something, right? Because it ain't going to happen in 10 minutes. Don't expect that, you know, you come along, support the stream for like 4 weeks, and then you're going to suddenly start getting paid. It doesn't work that way. You have to support it. Now, there are people out there, and I don't think they will mind me mentioning their names, and it's just the first people that come to mind I'm just going to mention. There is a reason for it, right? So if I haven't mentioned everybody that's supported just off this, don't take that to heart. It's just the first few names that come to head, you know, for lumps of money. So you're looking at people like, you know, Stuart Skulls and Michael Bloxham and Ian Menham and Rob Barnes and, you know, others like them, right? So you've got Katie and Andy and Mick and Lisa and so many people, so many of you. And if I've missed your name off, please don't be offended by that. But these are people that continue to put money in month after month after month. And they tried their best to support me as much as they could, right? So if you have a load of investors that just walked away, all these people that just walked away, And every now and again, they might send me a message or an email, where's my money? I want paying, whatever. Fair few people. And then you have your couple of peoples, right? Your couple of peoples, just a couple of peoples, like your Rob Barneses and your Michael Bloxhams and your Stuart and Ian and so on. They're supporting financially. They not interested, not gonna put another penny in, whatever. If and when there is some money to pay out, where do I go first? Supposing I don't know, supposing something magical happened, and you can't say it can't happen simply because at Christmas, believe it or not, I won the Royal Mint 12 Days of Christmas Gold Proof. So I've got the 2023 Snowman and James Gold from the Royal Mint in the mahogany box. They only made 100 of them, and I won it. 30,000 entries went into that, and my name got pulled. The Royal Mint, they're all behind closed doors. There's no wheel that we can all see publicly, so you can't see what's happening and whether it's fair or anything like that. They just do a number generator thingy, and it picks one, and that's it. So everybody has to trust them. They don't do it like I do. And nobody, with the trouble I've had with the Royal Mint and the trouble the Royal Mint has had with me, nobody could now say, even I in my wildest whatevers, no matter how angry I am with the Mint, the one thing I could never, ever, ever say is, their game is bent. How can it be bent when the person that won it is probably the person that's caused them the most trouble in the last 5 years? But it shows you that you only need one entry to win. So is it possible that you can win the gold proof on the Royal Mint 12 Days of Christmas? Of course it's possible. I've won it. I know it's possible. Is it possible that you could buy a lottery ticket and win? Of course it's possible. So supposing somehow, some way I came into 20 grand, 50 grand, whatever. Do I go to those? Or should I go to those? Now, in my head and in my heart, I think I should go to those. The Jeffrey Brinklows of this world. Right? The people over here that have continued to support me, dare I say it, even at times when perhaps they shouldn't have. Now, it's not just about money, but it's also about support. I've been making my own coins. There are people that have been buying those coins. There are people that don't have a lot of money. Right? I mean, I know I've missed off some names, but there are people that I know that have collected quite a few of the coins. There's Liam Redgrave and Eddie and other people that have collected most, if not all, of the TGBCH coins. They've got quite a collection, and that's been a way of supporting and helping. We made some silver bars, and people bought those. So there's a ton of ways somebody can help with money, of course, but there are also a load of ways that people can help without money. And one of those ways is to introduce somebody to the game, tell somebody about the raffle site, I don't know, share a stream, go and get your free entries. Getting your free entries isn't if you win one of my raffles and you've not paid a penny and you've won it on a free entry, that doesn't put a black mark against you. I want to be able to shout that from the rooftops. Look at this person won that, and it's from a free entry. Not from a slagging off point of view. Oh, they only got a free entry and they won. No, it's a positive thing as far as I'm concerned. It's a positive thing because it shows other people that you can win on just your free entry without spending any money. Of course, if you spend money, then your chances of winning goes up, and probably the number of times that you will win will go up because you're spending money and therefore you're putting more entries in for various raffles. So it stands to reason you will win more. But if you have no money and therefore you're in a position where you cannot support financially, you can still support by getting your free entries. Now, I've seen, and I see every single entry. Every time somebody buys an entry, I get an email. And that email will tell me what that person, who the person is, what they've bought, and it will tell me whether or not they've paid any money. Has it come off their discount, which is the credit that they've got, price competition credit, or have they put any money towards it? Have they paid any money? And I can see every single entry that every single person buys or gets, whether it's free or paid, I get an email. And there are people that don't have anything to do with us now that have done well out of me previously. They've done well. They don't bother getting so much as a free entry. Not interested in supporting us one little bit. And when you have that kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, attitude, mentality, whatever you want to call it, when you have that going on, you have to question yourself from time to time. I have to question myself. I have to go, look, is it worth it? Is it even worth me continuing? I should have gone bust so many times over. And I know this is not a very nice thing to say because there are a lot of you that would have lost out. But I can honestly say I wish I'd gone bust 6 years ago. I wish I'd gone bust at the start of the Troubles. When the Troubles happened and it was, we were then put into two camps, for example, the Warren camp and the Ian camp, and the people that then went off and followed Warren and thought he was telling the truth and were disgusted with me. Even people that have turned out to be friends at that time wrote to me telling me how disgusted they was with me because they believed what Warren had told them until they realised it was all a pack of lies. But where was I going with that? Oh, just lost my train of thought then on where I was going with that. It was profound, as every thought is, that what goes out the window. There was just so much of that went on. I should have, that's right, I should have gone bust then. I should have just called it a day. I was extremely ill. Oh, got a pen all over me now. Picked up them. I was extremely ill and I was getting battered. And I was getting battered not only by him and his chums, but by a lot of customers that were just didn't believe me. And why would they? Why would they believe me? He was the face of the channel. He was the one everybody trusted. He was the one everybody switched on the YouTube for. He was the one that people wanted to watch. And he was on and he did hours and hours and hours a day. So much he did. And he got paid a lot. He got paid a lot. He got paid in kind, but he got paid a lot. He never declared any of it. Not one single did he, not once, nothing he didn't declare. Anyway, that's when I should have gone bust. And I didn't because there was all those people that I was holding in my left hand a minute ago. All those people that even though they wanted nothing to do with me, I still had to fight for them. All of the people that had invested money with me, one way or another, that got to a point where they decided to switch off and have nothing to do with me, except wait and hope that they're going to get their money back. And some of those people were even in Warren's camp. So even though I was sending out emails to investors to try and keep them updated and so on and so forth, they were getting handed straight over to him. Even people that had invested money were prepared to damage their own investment and everybody else's investment, your investment, everybody else's. They were prepared to do that to give him ammunition against me. Even though at the time they did it, they knew that if I go under, they get bugger all. They still fed him the information and the updates that I was putting up. So nothing was sacred. And some of you may remember it got to a stage where I could not send an email out or put up a video without retaliatory stuff going on and making me look bad and one thing and another. Absolute full of. I just, to say the words lies and drivel is an understatement because it was so blatantly false and people kept buying into the false. People, that's just a people thing, isn't it? People, a crowd of people are more inclined to dive in and kick a person when they're down than they are to dive in, push the O's at people out of the way and give that person a hand up. There are more people willing to put the boot in than there are willing to offer a hand and lift somebody up. What that's about, I'm not going to pretend to know. But I do know that that is the way of the world. And now, again, going back to this conversation with the person that I upset, I've implored people to look after their own investment and people haven't. And I've got ill and hurt myself physically and mentally worrying about that group of people. I mean, this group of people as well, the ones, like I said, the Stewarts and the Jeffreys and the Michaels and the Andys and so on, the Liams and the Eddies and the Katies, so on, and the Micks and the Lisas, all helping. And so they're on my mind. Of course they are. So are the people that don't want nothing to do with me. I've been fighting for them as well. Because I don't believe in going, well, I'm only going to fight for you. If you give me money, I'm only going to fight for you. But if you don't give me any money, well, no, I fight for them and all. And it doesn't matter how much I fight. There's a group of people that just won't have anything to do with us. And that is something I can't fight. I've tried, but I can't. And if you take away those investors out of the frame and just customers, I've had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of customers. The fact that I'm being given such a wide berth by so many people is heartbreaking. It's totally heartbreaking. And I don't know how to fight that. We've now been barred, blocked, restricted on Facebook. I don't know what these people did, but they did something. And business after business. I think the Great British Coin Hunt now it's not restricted. I think you can actually post a Great British Coin Hunt listing now on Facebook, and it will allow you to post it. I think I haven't tried it lately, but I think it is. There's a couple that are banned. I think TGBCH Prizes is still banned. I think changechecker.com is not banned. I think that ban restriction was lifted. So was a Great British Coin Hunt. But all of that stuff going on Facebook. The Great British Coin Hunt Facebook page has got 20,000 people on it. It's had 20,000 people on it for the last 5 years. So that means when I make a post on there, it means that post will show up on 20,000 timelines. That's what your numbers mean. So if you have a group with 5,000 people in it, you make a post, that's going to show up, that post, on 5,000 timelines. 5,000 timelines is when you're on Facebook on your mobile, on my mobile, and you click the home button and you get that feed. So you've got that feed. So, you know, I see what, if Richard Brabbin has made a post, I see what he's posted. If Lorna Jones has made a post and I'm flicking through the thing because she's in my friends list, I'll see the post, that kind of thing, right? So the people that are in your friends list, you know, you scroll down, don't you? You scroll down, you think, oh, Charlie's mentioned so-and-so. Oh, I'll make a comment. Oh, look at Liz. She's, you know, she's a bit poorly. I'll get well soon, love, and that kind of stuff, right? So that's your feed. And when I make a post on the Great British Coin Hunt's Facebook page, that post will show up in your feed. Well, actually, it won't. It's supposed to, but it's suppressed. So it's behind the scenes suppressed. It's not suppressed openly, it's suppressed behind the scenes. So what that means is I make a post on the Great British Coin Hunt Facebook and it doesn't show up on people's timelines. It doesn't show up on hardly anybody's timelines. Might show up on a few people, but it doesn't show up on that many. And I know this, and there's nothing I can do about it. I did take legal action, or start legal action, against Facebook at one point, and I had to stop because I was totally out of my depth, because their top end solicitors wrote to me and answered the court summons and basically asked the court to throw it out, simply because I've taken Facebook UK to court, and Facebook UK doesn't have anything to do with the running of yours and my UK Facebook. That's run by Facebook Ireland. So if you have a problem with your Facebook account and you live in the UK, England, Wales, Scotland, you have to, Northern Ireland, you have to, and it's a big enough problem that you want to take legal action against Facebook, for example, to get something addressed. You literally have to take Facebook Ireland to court, which is Southern Ireland. And there's a lot of people that do that. Facebook, eBay, PayPal, they've all got their UK offices in Southern Ireland. And that's because there is a bigger issue in being able to take them to court. It's not as easy to take them to court. If you're part of the UK, Great Britain, which is not Southern Ireland, if you're part of the UK, then you can take anybody in the UK to court, and it's not too difficult. You have to go to the court in their hometown. So if I took somebody to court in Manchester, I'd have to travel all the way up to Manchester. But, you know, when I took Warren to court, I had to go all the way down to Hastings. But you have to take, you can't take Facebook to court. You can't take eBay to court, PayPal to court. You can't take any of these people to court in the UK courts, because their operation is not run by blah, blah, blah UK. No, it's run by blah, blah, blah Ireland. So because of that, I couldn't take any action against Facebook. So I've never been able to get in front of the right person to say a massive mistake has been made. If I could afford to sue them, and remember, you know, this kind of court case would be 50 to 100,000 pounds. If I could afford to sue them, I could sue them for a fortune, as I could them in. But it's too much money, and you have to throw an unbelievable amount of money at it. Otherwise, if you don't, all the solicitors want to do is just send letters backwards and forwards that last 4 years and get absolutely nowhere. You know, me taking the Royal Mint to court, I told the barrister what I wanted to take him to court for specifically. The barrister advised the solicitor that I was wrong and that we need to take action specifically over what their criteria is to become a distributor. And I said, no, that's a bad idea. We need to take action over things like putting coins into circulation, like the A to Zs that shouldn't have been put into circulation, that they shouldn't have had in their tills, that you know, that is fraud, and massive fraud, and VAT fraud and tax fraud and all sorts of fraud. So it shouldn't be allowed. But no, didn't want to do any of that. And I know I was right. I know I was right. It was the wrong way to go. And we just ended up spending another 2 years and a load of money. And I've done 20 grand, maybe. And got nowhere. So anyway, getting back to, so I've tried what I really needed. If we could go back to perhaps before Warren went off his tits, if we could go back to then, that Christmas, if we go back to before my dad died, because that was when it was, around when my dad died. If we could go back to then, and I had just before he did what he did, if I'd have done 2 things then, 2 things, that's all, 2 things, we would be in a different place now. Number one, as the owner of the business, I should have seen it coming. I ignored the warning signs and I should have seen it coming. There was that stuff going on with that nonconformist idiot in America and his wife, and the bad language and the drinking and all of that. At that point, I should have gone, no, this is not what I'm about. This is not what I set up on the channel to be about. And I should have switched everybody off and I should have locked everybody out. Anybody that had login details, I should have logged them all out. But that was in my defense, which is a crappy defense. I'll be the first person to say that. It's a crap defense. My dad was dying and I was not in a good place. And I let it continue, even though I had the Jiminy Cricket on my shoulder, in my ear, warning me and saying to me, you know, just, you shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be drinking, shouldn't be swearing, shouldn't be doing the late night stuff, switch it all off, your dad's dying, lock everybody out, just switch it all off for the time being. That's what I should have done. Now, if I'd have locked everybody out then, if I'd have shut it all down then, and at the same time gone into doing my own coins, there were enough followers of ours that I could have produced 100 coins and sold them all in a week. There was enough people that would have bought them. You know, it's all right for the people to go, oh no, they're a load of old crap and I'd never have bought them. Load of rubbish. You would have bought them. They would have bought them. And, you know, if people were happy enough to put bids in and buy my old shirts with me signing them and all sorts of signatures on them and all that kind of stuff, you know, the Gruffalo and the Peter Rabbit and all of that, they would have bought my own coins. And I would have sold 100 in a week, and that would have been a successful, pardon me, that would have been a successful venture, if you like. Sorry, it's gone a bit white. I think it's to do with the sun. So those to me were two fatal mistakes that I made. And I can't blame anyone for me making those mistakes, can I? You know, you can't blame anybody when you whack your thumb with an hammer. The only person you can blame is you. You can't blame anybody else. You know, you can blame someone for shouting at you or something and taking your attention away while you whack yourself with the hammer. But at the end of the day, whose fault is that? Is it their fault because they took your attention away? Or is it your fault because you should have stopped and turned and whatever, and then gone back to your hammering? You know, everything that's gone wrong is my fault. Everything. Because I should have known better. I should have seen it coming. I have had people stitch me up before. I've had partners put their fingers so far into the till, you know, they couldn't get their arms out. I've been there, done that, worn a t-shirt, seen it, felt it, experienced it, should have seen it coming. And I didn't see it coming. Because I was too wrapped up in my own personal crap. You know, my dad, again, you know, mentioning my dad was dying. Everybody's dad dies. You know, you think you're the only person that's gone through a few funerals? We all have funerals. You know, it's just because your dad died, you ain't nothing special. My dad died 5 years ago. My mum died 3 years ago. My auntie died, whatever. And it's quite true. It's quite true because it's going on for everybody. It's going on for all of you. Every single one of you have lost somebody in the last 6 years. Every single one of you. So I ain't nothing special. But I have an innate sense of something that's not right. I don't know whether it's psychopathic. I don't know whether it's sociopathic. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I have this thing where I just won't give up. I just won't give up. I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for you. Fighting for you. Fighting for you. And I should have given up because if I'd have gone bankrupt then, I'd be coming out of a bankruptcy now. It lasts for 6 years. If I go bankrupt now, I'm going to be 66, 67. That's if I live that long. What to do, what to do. I said to you that I was going to go bust. I haven't even started on Kaspa yet. I said to you I was going to go bust when the show didn't work. And I've come back from that show not working. And I lost Harry. So now I'm on my own. Well, I'm not on my own because I have a team, but I'm on my own here. And it's just been going downhill, steadily downhill ever since the show, because there's just not enough money coming in. And part of that is again my fault because I cancelled all of the subscriptions. I had a couple of £1,000 a month coming in total. And you might say, Ian, fucking hell, mate, why did you do that? I mean, I even had one person message me afterwards and say, look, if you need me to pay a bit more, I don't mind paying a bit more. But I couldn't justify in my own mind continuing to take those subscriptions for a moment longer after the show finished. And it was so bad. When I realized how bad it was, I just couldn't justify taking people's subscriptions. You know, as you know, there were people that had the full Monties, right? So the full Monty 6 was £220 a month. I couldn't continued to take that money, £100 a month for a full Monty free, and I had half a dozen people on that. I could not continue to take, even though I desperately needed that money in order to get me through. And if I hadn't have cancelled those subscriptions and I'd have carried on taking that money would have helped me get through. But there lies a massive problem. In order for that to happen, I would have had to continue doing all of the spins, for all of those 80 spins a week, however many it was, and I couldn't. I knew I wouldn't be able to do it. I knew it. I didn't even attempt it because I knew it was an impossible task. So if I can't do the spins, how can I take your money? I can't take your money if I can't do the spins. I can't owe you the spins and think, well, I'll catch up in a month or two's time when I sort myself out a bit. No, that ain't going to work. A, because you're not going to be happy about continuing to pay me without any spins. And B, because how do you catch up with that many spins? So the only thing that I could do that would allow me to sleep at night was to cancel all the subscriptions. I had to. Even though some of you would be thinking that was the stupidest thing you did in a long time. You should not have done that. I had to, because I knew that I'd be taking money off you and not be able to give you what it is you were paying me for. And what was killing me was the multiplications on the full Monties. They were killing me, especially the 6s and the 5s. They were horrendous. And mistakes that were made were the fact that I gave too many membership vouchers away, allowed people to swap prizes for membership vouchers, and allowed people to swap prizes for prize competition credit. Those three things shouldn't have done it, because that was a recipe for disaster. Who's going to buy more membership when they can swap for it? Who's going to buy raffle credit when they can win it or swap for it? And so one by one, people started spending less and less and less and less, because they're using what they win to buy more of what it is that's allowing them to win. That upset the people that weren't able to buy the full Monties and therefore get the extra spins and the bonus spins, etc. It upset the people that only had a few memberships and didn't have many more. It upset the people that didn't have the prize competition credit, and so on. And so all of those people stopped using. They didn't bother. And those people are not thinking, well, it only takes one entry to win. Doesn't matter. There were a lot of people who took it on a personal basis and felt like they're just being pushed out, had their nose pushed right out of joint. And to a degree, I don't blame them, because I did it wrong. And that's the thing, you see, when you go off doing things because you maybe, I mean, I'm not a very panicky type person. I don't panic in many situations, but there were little mini panics that I've had, and I've gone ahead and done something thinking, well, I've got no choice, I've got to do that, and I've ended up making a rod from my own back. So I had to cancel. I had to bite that bullet, cancel, because I couldn't have those people that were financially supporting. I just didn't want to take the risk of turning those people into those people, because then you've got nobody financially supporting, and then you've got too many of these people over here who will have nothing to do with you, but will give continued stress. And I don't say that in a benign way. Give continued stress to get their money back, which of course anybody would do. I would. I'd be giving somebody stress. So I don't blame people for that at all. Um, and so I had to cancel all the subscriptions and then think really fast. Okay, what am I going to do here? And I streamed it all down to just 3 subscriptions, and then I cancelled too many because I kept George's Draw going, so I shouldn't have cancelled any George's Draw subscriptions, and I kept the raffle subscription going, so I shouldn't have cancelled any of those. I have increased it slightly because it's £10 a month now, isn't it, for one instead of £6.75. But that's the subscription price is a nothing price. I still believe now what I've believed all the way through, which is, you know, if you get 1,000 people on a £10 a month subscription, then you 10,000, 1,000, that's £10,000 a month comes in. 1,000 people on £20 a month subscription, you've got £20,000 a month coming in. Now you might think it's pie in the sky, Ian. You're never ever gonna get 1,000 people interested in a raffle. Well, this leads me on to a website called Raffall, and then I'll tell you about Kaspa. So there's a website called Raffall. It's Raffall, Raffall, raffall.com. So many years ago, I tried to do this 25 years ago. I was too far ahead of my time at the time, and I had no financial backing whatsoever. But I had a raffle site, and what I wanted was for other people to be able to host their own raffles on my site and take a commission and so on. Anyway, this is pretty much what this raffle is all about. And they have got so many members because they've managed to harness a lot of the what they call the influencers, the big YouTubers and TikTokers, people that have got millions of followers and that kind of stuff, so they can put up a raffle and sell all the tickets just like that. And so over there you can win anything from a box of chocolates up to a car, up to a camper van, up to a house, a flat, whatever. And what happens is that if you set a raffle and you don't sell enough tickets to supply the prize, then the raffle site will give the winner 75% of the pot. So the winner is guaranteed something. So you put a car up, maybe you've got to sell 5,000 entries to break even or make your profit or whatever, and you only sell 4,000, and therefore if you give the car away, well, you're going to lose a lot of money, so you can't afford to give the car away. Instead of refunding everybody, the winner just gets 75% of the pot. And it's a system where I was talking about the other day, whereby it's a similar system to what we got on the raffle site, whereby at the tick of a box, you can tell that competition that as soon as the time runs out, just close the competition and put a winner, and then there's a winner's name printed on the page. I have the facility to do that. I just thought it would be a bit more fun if we did live draws. So I put all the people's names on a wheel and I do a live draw. Whereas a lot of these places don't do that. The Royal Mint doesn't do that. This raffle site doesn't do that. Soon as a raffle is finished, a winner is pulled within seconds, and that's the name that's on the page, and that's it. So the thing about this raffle site is there is a various categories, and there's a collectible category, and in that collectible category there are coins. And there is one person there, I think it's UK Coin Hunt or Coin Hunt UK or something like that. And you never know if it's the same UK Coin Hunt as the one that you heard of before, or, you know, whatever. Because like I know, I'm the Great British Coin Hunt, but there's other people out there that trade on the name Great British Coin Hunt. You know, it's not just me. Royal Mint trade on it, and so do other people out there. They trade on British Coin Hunt, Great British Coin Hunt, whatever, or, you know, different underscore dash, whatever they use. And anyway, but what I do notice is this particular person that I looked on, I was searching around, I was doing a bit of research on it, and this particular person that's putting coins up, because you can, it's like anything else. nowadays, on this site, you can choose to click the button to follow the vendor, to follow the person that's putting up the raffle. Anyway, this person has got over 1,000 followers. That's just one person in the collectible category. There's loads of people that put up coins and one thing and another in the collectible category. And I haven't looked on all of them. I don't know how many, who's got what followers, whatever. But I did happen to just at random click on this one, look on their profile, and I saw that they had over 1,000 followers. And immediately that struck a chord with me, because that is 1,000 people that are interested in winning prizes, specifically coin related prizes, because this is a coin person, right? So it's over 1,000 people specifically interested in winning coin related prizes. Now, if these people are interested in winning coin related prizes off of this guy and other chaps and chapesses, then why wouldn't they be interested in winning something off of us? And maybe they don't even know about us. Maybe they know none of the shit that's gone down, whatever, therefore they have no reason to give me a wide berth. I don't know. Maybe I put up a load of raffles and all of these people have heard all of that shit over there and will have nothing to do with me. I don't know until I try. But it's all I've got left. So I'm going over there. In the description of this video is the link to my profile page, raffle.com/TGBCH. That will take you through to my page where there are 3 raffles at the moment. Just to test things out, I'm going to try and put more raffles on over the weekend. I'm going to try and put some on today, maybe. Some of it's going to be stuff that you've already seen, stuff that we've already got on the raffle site, you know, some silvers and one thing and another. But whilst some of you probably won't have a go on it because you've already got them or you're entering them on the raffle site, whatever, what I'm hoping is these other people that are part of this other raffle site, they may have a go. So I'm setting all of the competitions on there at 50p an entry with multi-buy tickets and stuff like that. Anyway, so I'm letting you know, to give you the heads up, that I'm going to be doing this over there. You know, some of you will still might want to go, well, I'll still put 50p or £1 on for a silver-proof Birmingham Games, even though I've got 3, because why not? Some of you may have that mentality, that way of thinking. Some of you might be thinking, no, I've already got 3 Commonwealth Games, so I'm not even going to put 50p on it. That's fine. But I need to go for a bit of cash. Cash on eBay of late and other sale sites has been abysmal. I don't know if any of you have had any trouble, but it has been absolutely abysmal for me, to the point where Christmas weekend I did 99p one sale. I've never had that, not had that in years. You know, if I've got an eBay account and I've got products up there, I'm selling products every day. I may not get £1,000 a week, I may not get £10,000 a week, but it's going to be in the hundreds every week, at least. You know, you build up, and I've got over 100,000 items, over £3 million worth of retail price stock. So you know, you have to keep going. Some bright spark said I should get rid of all my, because I said I got over 100,000 items, they said I should get rid of all my stuff at £1 each, which wasn't very clever of them. Somebody left a comment and I didn't like that. I thought that was rather rude myself. And it's not possible you could sell everything for £1 each, and you couldn't sell everything for £1 each, because, you know, the one thing that I spent years putting a lot of money into, a lot of time, effort and money, was the definitives. I have more definitives than anybody else in the country. I have more pennies, 2 pences, 5 pences than anybody else you'll ever meet. If I go cashing those in, it's going to produce a minimal amount of money for the work and money that I've spent out on it, because the money that it's cost me is not in buying the pennies and the 2p's. It's the money that it's cost me in having them sorted and yeared and everything else. And I already sell them for £1 each. So you can't, you know, I'm not selling them yesterday. Nobody's coming along next week and ordering 200,000 pennies at £1 each. You know, that doesn't happen. I think probably what the person was referring to was I should sell all my bunts and brilliant uncirculated and just bear with me 1 second. Hello? Hello, yeah, I'll phone you back shortly because I'm just in the process of recording a video. All right, give me a few minutes, I'll phone you back. Perhaps what they were referring to was that, you know, maybe I should take all my brilliant uncirculated and silvers and one thing and another and all that kind of stuff and sell those for £1 each. You know, it wasn't exactly the most helpful suggestion. So that's where we are at the moment. And like I say, I'm going over there because I need to generate a bit of cash. I don't know if it will generate any cash. I don't know how good it is. It might be crap. I might put a load of stuff up there and not get 10 quid's worth of entries. I have no idea. But I'm doing it and I'm letting you know that I'm doing it. So that if you want to join in over there, you can. But of course, you can't use any credit. You can't use any of your membership money. You can't use any of your Ian's leaderboard money. You can't use any of your PCC. Can't use any of that over there because I don't control that site. It's nothing to do with me. It's not my site. I don't control anything that goes on there. I have no say in anything whatsoever. I'm just an ordinary customer like you. And, you know, if you wanted to host a raffle on there, there's nothing to stop you. Anybody can host a raffle for anything. You want to put a raffle up of 50 quid cash, you can, by the look of it. If you want to put up a Harry Potter 50p in a Royal Mint package, you can. There's nothing to stop you. So I've gone down the road of just seeing what this could give us, if anything. And I don't know if it's going to be any good or not, but if you would, you know, and it means you've got to join another site. I know how some people hate that, especially people getting on in years like me. You think to yourself, I don't want to join another site. That means another site. I've got to put my details in. I've got to give them my email address. I'm going to get emails from them. I've got to have a password that I've got to remember. And yada, yada, yada. And I understand all that. So I will not take offense if you don't go over there and join and don't partake on any of the raffles I put up. I will not take one little scrap of offense. I thought I could clear out the prize competition credit faster than I have done. Maybe I shouldn't have reduced prices. Reducing prices, reducing the number of entries means that people can't blow their credit. And that's what I was really should have maybe gone after, is like put up a few massive listings so that people could just blow all the credit that they've got on these big listings. And I didn't do that way. So that's taken longer. We have got money coming in for the raffle site, but it is not as much as you might imagine because there is still a fair bit of prize competition credit out there. It's being used up, it's being eaten up, but it's not being eaten up as fast as I'd like it to be. And so there aren't many people that are paying. I would say 85 to 95% of all ticket sales are with people using up their PCC. And I don't know how long that's going to go on for. And I need desperately to get some cash in. That leads me on to other things that have happened. I mean, when I won that gold proof off of the Royal Mint, number 58 I've got out of 100. when I won that gold proof off the Royal Mint, I thought, yes, things are starting to improve. You know what you do? You sort of get that feeling, it's like, maybe a few things are going to come right now. We need a few things to come right. Then something else happened. It's like, yes. Then something else happened. Yes. Then I spoke to my mum, and my mum helped me out with some money over Christmas. So, yes. You know, a few things have happened that have come right. And then all of a sudden things start going pear-shaped again. My cousin stroke nephew, long story, don't ask, but he's my cousin and my nephew. He died, 39, out of the blue, poof. My uncle died, Uncle Barry. Boom, he's gone. This is all in the last month. Couple of nights ago, my Auntie Irene, which was my dad's last sister, altogether there was 7 of them, and they're all gone apart from Auntie Irene and Uncle Keith. Uncle Keith is still alive. Auntie Irene caught COVID a couple of days ago. She went out, caught COVID, got ill the next day, got rushed to hospital, air ambulance, helicopter, pulled up on the park where she lives, rushed her to hospital, and died. Boom, gone. And she'd only just put some posts up on Facebook, you know, happy, smiling. You wouldn't have thought that that lady was close in any way, shape, or form. You would not have thought that lady was anywhere near the bucket, let alone kicking it. Just nowhere near. Enjoying life with her family, enjoying Christmas with her family over a period of 2 days. Poof, gone. Yesterday, I had a terrible accident with Kaspa. Oh my God, terrible. I keep seeing it, I keep reliving it, and it keeps upsetting me. We have a habit of leaving the door open so that he can come and go as he pleases in the garden. You know, he likes to go out, he'll go out for a bit, he'll lay on the patio, could be raining, could be windy. He don't care. He goes out there and he loves it. And we let him be. We just let him be. And he'll come in when he's ready. And then he might go out again or whatever. So we've always got a door open in this house for him. And I had the kitchen door open. And it's only something stupid. I picked up some dirt off the carpet or something, and or whatever I was doing, I went to put it outside. The bins are out the front, and I went to put it outside. I opened the front door. As I opened the front door, the wind so strong. I opened the front door. The wind threw the door open against me. So that sort of the door smashed into me as I opened it. The second it went off its catch, poof, it's come in. Within a second of that happening, literally a second of that happening, I heard the back door, bang, slam shut. At the moment I heard that back door slam shut, I heard Kaspa screaming. I run through to the back door, went to open the back door. I couldn't open the back door. He's screaming. He's still screaming. He's outside. I can see him. He's laying on the floor. He's screaming. He's yelping. I can't open the door. I had to use so much force to yank the door open. I just had visions of his foot coming off or something. And he still screamed after I opened the door. And it turned out it was incredibly lucky. He just got his foot clear of the door. And then what must have happened was as the door is slammed shut, it slammed shut. Can you see how I've pinched my skin? It slammed shut like that and caught him like that on his leg, and then chopped that whole piece off. So you can see that I've got that bit now where it goes up, right? Where it goes up there, because I've got a lump of it, right? It chopped it off, just chopped that straight off. So that what was left was just no skin, just flesh and bone. Poor sod, must have been so much shock. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't take him anywhere because I got no car, and I got no license. I can't drive. The car was here, but if I'd have took it, I'd have got caught. I'd have got done. If I'd have had an accident, I could have got put in prison. So, tried phoning Fran, who was at the hospital, because Fran's been really ill, and still is really ill, to the point where she's been doctors in hospital every day this week, various appointments. I had to go over to Paul for an appointment yesterday, and I was trying to phone her to let her know this had happened, and to try and find out where any painkillers were, because he must have been in an extreme amount of pain, and he just couldn't settle. Obviously, you know that thing when you've really hurt yourself and you're really in pain, and you can't sit down, you can't lay down, you can't move around, but you are moving around, you know. So when she came back, we then rushed him up the vets, and that was he got an injection for the pain, and an injection, I think, for injection for the pain, injection for something else. That was a couple of £100. Then we had to book in an appointment for this morning so that he could go up there. She took him up at 8 o'clock this morning. He's not back yet. She took him up at 8 o'clock this morning so that he could get general anaesthetic, be put out, and have stitches and x-rays to make sure nothing was broken or fractured or anything like that. Whatever they've done this morning was a minimum of £600, minimum. So we're now at over £800 for 1, maybe 2 seconds. The time it took for me to open that door and him to be screaming in pain, 2 seconds. So we've got to deal with that now, and the financial cost of that, where that's going to come from, God only knows. But we're looking at, I mean, I'm insured. Fortunately, it's the one thing I am insured for. I was just about to cancel that as well, because my insurance for Kaspa last year was £1,800, and I just got a notification about 2 weeks ago telling me that this year his insurance is going to be 2,400 and whatever. So it's going up over £600, and for this year, so it's higher payments this year, all year. And immediately I've got an £800 claim minimum. Could be 1,000, could be £1,200, whatever. And well, there's excess as well, and you know, so no doubt next year they'll put his insurance up to £3,000, I should think. So I'm so glad I didn't cancel it. I was going to cancel it. I'm so glad I didn't. So we've got that going on. Meanwhile, we have issues with Fran dating back to the vaccines. The vaccines have caused Fran problems, to the point where she's been diagnosed with polymyalgia, giant cell arteritis, now called, it's not teriyaku, it's a Japanese name, and it's tissiraku, something like that. And it's to do with a vein that comes up here, goes into up here, and it comes down here from from the heart area, right? And that's one thing definite that we know about, and that's come about from yesterday's meeting, is that that vein is blocked. And so because that vein is blocked, she's got pressure behind the eye, she's got things going on up here. So we're really freaking out about that. She was made to take 10 steroids a day. Then there's a tablet she has to take. She has to stand up for half an hour after she takes the tablet. Then for the last 2 years, they've misdiagnosed her as hormone problems. She's been going in with tinnitus and pressure behind her eye and seeing blurry vision, watching TV and things like that, and other issues. And she's been going in, and the doctor's been going, yeah, it's your hormones, love. And of course, when a woman's told it's your hormones, love, you know, you go home and you accept it. I don't know any woman that doesn't. And the doctor tells you that what you're reporting to them is nothing more or less than it's your hormones and it's your time of life, and you just got to suck it up and deal with it. That's what women tend to do. They come home and they suck it up and they deal with it because they know there's nothing else there's nothing can be done. There's no magic pill for women that have got hormone issues. Fuck all to do with hormone issues. Nothing to do with hormones at all. It's all to do with other things that are going wrong, like this blockage here that's caused the certain problems in up here, and the tinnitus and stuff like that is being caused by proper literal ailments of things going wrong, like this vein not working, and it has got nothing to do with hormones. So they should have been, if they'd have diagnosed her properly in the first place. So then recently, about a week ago, she's gone down there and they're going, oh no, we've been misdiagnosed. You haven't got that, you've got this, and you shouldn't be taking the steroids. 10 steroids a day, you shouldn't be taking the steroids. We've got to get you off the steroids. Trouble is, once they put you on the steroids, your immune system goes out the window because that shuts down your immune system. So you'll be really careful, whatever you do, wherever you go. And you can't just go, yeah, come off the steroids. Oh, right then, I won't take them and knock them on the head from tomorrow. No, you can't do that. Once you're on them, even if you're going to come off them straight away, you've got to carry on taking them for a year because you've got to slowly come off them. And then when you get down to the last sort of 15, 20 milligrams, you've got to start taking 1 milligram less each time. And you can't just go 10 milligrams less. You've got a little bit. It takes ages to come off them. And now, because of the appointment she had yesterday, she's now being told, we got you coming off the steroids. Actually, we're not sure that we did give you the wrong information. We're not sure that you was misdiagnosed. You might have this giant cell arteritis. You might have the polymyalgia, this Terry-Saku business. So she's got to have more and more tests done. And at the moment, they're saying that this Terry-Saku, whatever, is like, it affects 1 in 2 million people. So 1 in a million people, something like that. So how unlucky is she to have this going on? So she's frightened to death now. She is frightened because she could have died at any point over the last year. And it's that dangerous. She could again. Something could happen and she could go. And there's so much of it. Like my cousin, nephew, he ended up going in hospital with stomach aches. Turned out to be something to do with his pancreas. It had ruptured, the wall had ruptured. That was it. Good night, Vienna. There's a lot of bad stuff coming out about the vaccines, and remember we talked about that ages ago, but there's a lot of bad stuff coming out. So here's the position I'm in, right? So we've still got these people over here, and we've still got these people over here, and these are the people that have helped one way or another. These are the people that have helped one way or another, whether it's been financial or non-financial, coming back to that. And these are the people that, you know, did whatever investment that they did and have had nothing to do with me ever since, and only want to, I don't mean this in a bad way, in a cutting way or whatever, but their only interest is in taking out as soon as they can, as much as they can. And I do feel that some of these people over here are not just thinking of themselves, right? These people in this hand, they're not just thinking of themselves, they're thinking of these people as well, as I am. But I do sometimes get the impression that there's some people over here that they don't give a monkeys about anybody else. They don't care about me, don't care about them, don't care about anybody else. They just want what's theirs. And I realise the way I put that might make that sound like a bad thing. And I have to stress that, you know, I would agree with those people out there that would say, well, you can't have a go at them for that, yeah? You can't moan at them for that. You can't expect anything different. And I agree. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, the fact that somebody only wants to look after themselves and doesn't care about anybody else. But I am making the point that this group of people and myself are also thinking of these people, as well as ourselves. They're thinking of these people. That's the point that I'm making. And I have to, it's getting closer and closer and closer to me having to make a decision. I've now got to make a decision. What am I going to do? Because I have to have a certain amount of money to live, right? This house costs me approximately £1,500 a month. Now, if you look at if you take the rent, the gas and the electric, because I've got both, and the storage, it's costing me more than £1,500 a month. That's without food. Just the bills of the house, the expenses of the house, just that, and the storage, phone, broadband, gas, electric, all what you pay for, right? Your Sky, all that stuff. And the only reason I haven't got rid of the Sky, I'm so close to just dumping it, but the only reason I haven't got rid of the Sky is because over the years, I've had Sky for like 20 years. And over the years, I've bought films, as you do. Every now and again, you buy a film, and it's always there. So you build up a library, it's always there. I've been the Sky, that's gone, deleted. It's a good idea, the way that they did it, because it keeps you in there, doesn't it? It keeps you on the end of that fucking fishing line. Anyway, so the position I'm in at the moment is I can't afford to carry on with the status quo because I don't have enough coming in through the letterbox each week. I don't have enough money coming in. I cannot survive on what's coming in. I haven't managed to get the TGBCH coins to take off to the level I needed. Remember, we need, before anything else, we need to be at a point where 101 people are ready to buy the next coin that comes out. If I produce a coin and I'll make it a limited edition of 100, and there are 101 people that want that coin, we have success on a regular basis, right? So if I bought out one coin a week and there's 101 people that want that coin every week, then that's successful every week. That's a £1,500 a week turnover. And there aren't that many people, because I can't get that advertised as much as I need to or where I need to. There are other people that make 50p shaped coins, and those people are allowed to advertise in all sorts of coin groups. I'm not. Remember, I'm banned. These people won't have me in there. They won't have anything to do with me. They won't allow me to even advertise my product. So, you know, these people have for 5 years, 6 years, continually taken a brick out of the house that I'm building. This is the only way I can explain it to anybody. I'm building a house, building a business, and building a house. You can see it better in your mind's eye if you equate this to a garden wall or a house, a physical house made of brick, right? And for 6 years, these people have been going, you don't want to trust him. He's building an house that's going to fall down. You want to watch what you're doing. His house will fall down. Let me tell you, he's a bad man. And they're taking bricks. I go to bed at night. They come along, take a few bricks out of the house, throw them away. For 6 years, people have been doing this. And for 6 years, I've been trying to put those bricks back. And I've been trying to cement over the cracks. And I've been trying to repair the damage that's been done. Right? For 6 years, I've been trying to do this. And remember, it's only been going on with Warren 5 years, 4.5, 5 years. But this whole thing has been going on for 6 years with Lee Holt and his band of merry, chummy men and women. So for 6 years, I've been taking the bricks out of my house. You don't want to trust him. His house is going to fall down. You don't want to have anything to do with that. His house is going to fall down. We all know because and they're taking the bricks out. Now the house is coming close to falling down. It's on its last knockings. I can't describe how close the house is to falling down. The moment that house falls down, these people are going to be, see, I told you, you should have listened to us. Told you the house would fall down. Well, of course it's going to fucking fall down because you've been taking bricks out of it for 6 years. It can't do anything else but fall down. The only thing that house can do is fall down because you've taken and are continuing to take so many bricks out of that house when no one's looking, because you're nasty, evil, crafty, horrible people. And they just want to see it happen. So they can then say, see, I told you so. Like saying, that bloke walking down the road, he's going to trip over. He's going to trip over. You don't want to be anywhere near him in a minute because he's going to trip over. You watch, you wait and see. Then as that bloke comes past, stick their leg out, trip him up. See, I told you he's going to trip over. Those are the people that we've been dealing with for 6 long years. I don't know how many of you could put up with it for 6 years. It's nearly killed me again and again and again and again. And I ain't got that much fight left in me. I am really close to being done and dusted. I've had my life on the line and I've cared more about these people as well as these people than I have my own life. I do not jest with that. And in the belief that I could repair the damage. No matter how much damage has been done, I'll repair it. I will fight. I will keep fighting. No matter how many people come up against me, I will fight them. You can't beat China's whispers. You can't beat gossip. You can't beat these things. It's impossible. Totally impossible to beat lies and vicious gossip and that kind of stuff. You can't beat it. I've tried for 6 years. Nearly got there. I felt like I nearly made that. I nearly beat it. But you can't. And I'm losing family members. I can't get to the funerals, which is really upsetting me. I'm losing people I shouldn't be losing. And all I'm doing is having my head down and working, trying to fight. Trying to fight. It feels like trying to fight the marauders coming in off the beach. And I'm just there like an idiot with just a few people behind me that must feel like idiots from time to time in backing me. And we're just fighting a losing battle. So the question is, how long do I fight a losing battle? And how long do you help me fight a losing battle? Because it's not fair on you. It's not fair. It's not fair that you would keep fighting alongside me and getting so beat up. And if I don't know what to do, that's when I'm beat. That's when I've got to hold my hands up. Because I get to a point, I don't know what to do. I've worked all year since the destruction of the eBay account last year. Excuse me. Since the destruction of the eBay account last Christmas, that if you remember, that killed the Christmas. I've worked so hard, as have other people, and to those people I'm grateful, to try and get things back up and running and things back up online. But it's, to a degree, I think it's too little too late. I don't think it matters how much work I do. I don't think it matters anymore what the original arguments were about. I don't even think it matters anymore who told lies, who's done what, who's stirred the shit, who's damaged on purpose, who was the one taking the bricks out, who was the one with a sledgehammer in the wall, who was the one with a pick out. It doesn't matter in one sense, in the sense that I think we've gone as far as we can go. Fran being ill means that she can't earn. She can't go to work. She is petrified. She is so frightened. She's frightened of dying, of course, like anybody would be. And she's frightened of the money situation because I got her. And I have nothing to sell you. I have nothing to, whilst I had the memberships going, I had something to sell you and I could do deals on those memberships. Now, yes, you can still go and buy those memberships, but there are those of you that would quite rightly sit there and go, but what's the point? What's the point of me buying more memberships? Because, it's never going to happen. I don't know. It's never going to happen on the one hand, and on the other hand, I can agree with that and say, well, we're fighting a losing battle. It doesn't look like it's ever going to happen. And as positive as I might want to be in going, but I'm happy to fight, and yeah, it could happen. We only need 1,000 people on the raffle site, and we've got this much money coming in, and if you've got 100 people, just 100 people with a subscription, you've got £1,000, £2,000 a month coming in. But on the system we had before, when I was selling the memberships, doing the spins, etc., I knew what I was doing. I had something specific I can sell. I had something specific I could, in a sense, promise you as a return should things work out, and so on. Right now, right here, at this moment in time, I don't. Yes, I have something to sell. I can sell you the memberships, but you're not going to buy them. I can try and sell them to you, but you're not going to buy them. And I think I'm just going to make myself look more and more stupid. So I have no idea how long I can keep things going. It's part of the reason for moving some stuff, not moving over to, but utilizing as well, is the Raffall site, Raffall, as well as using my own Raffall site. Using my own Raffall site, I've noticed that we have some fresh names lately. Like I say, I see every single sale, every single competition entry. So I know who's getting competition entries. I know who's paying for entries. I know who's not paying for entries and only going for the free ones. And I see that. And if I see a new name come in for the free ones, I'm grateful, because it's like, great, that person's coming in. They're only getting their free ones, but it means that someone else's name is going to come up on the prize wheel from time to time. You know, if someone comes along and gets a free entry in every single raffle for the year, at some point they're going to win one. It's not guaranteed, but it is guaranteed. You know, if someone has got a free entry in every single raffle, then the odds are that at some point throughout the year they're going to win one. And then if people win off a free entry, they're likely to then maybe spend some money and get a subscription or buy a few entries or whatever. So this has been a long video, and you might have to do it in parts. Jesus wept, it's been 2 hours. I didn't expect that. But I did need to be honest. I did need to give you a full update. The prizes that are won from the raffle site, our raffle site, tgbchprizes.com, they are sent immediately. That's because Chris does a lot of hard work, and I send him the prizes. He lists them on the raffle site, and then he puts them aside at his place. And then once you've won them, as soon as you've won them every week, he takes all those winning prizes and he sends them off, boom, straight away the next day. That's why whatever you win on our raffle site, when we do the live draw on a Wednesday, by the time the next Wednesday comes around, you will have received your prizes. The one that is behind is the prize list. That's the one that I'm behind on the most and try to catch up with as often as I can. But it's difficult for me, especially if someone says, if someone wins Olympic coins and they say, just send me any Olympics, that's fine. That's great. When someone says, I want exactly what I've won, that becomes difficult, because they might have won 5 and I might only have 2, you know, and so I've got to buy them and get them in. Which doesn't sound like much of a problem, but when money is so bad, it is a problem, because there has to be a certain amount coming in every week to pay for things like the stuff to do with the sites, various softwares, Zen stores, all these things that we use in running a business. $20 a month for this, $100 a month for that, $200 a month for this, $50 a month for that. You know, you've got to have all these things, and you find it difficult to run your business without them, but it's expenses. And if you can't cover those expenses, you are in trouble. And I do not have enough money coming in on subscriptions to cover everything. I could do with some more. I mean, if any of you have been thinking of taking out a subscription, like the Raffall subscription, or for the spins of the wheel, 4 spins of the wheel a month for 30 quid, or for George's draw, those are the 3. I'm not having any others because I can't, but those 3 subscriptions are the ones I've kept going. And, you know, we need more people on them. They can't be successful if we don't get more people on them. So, and if I can't find a way of selling that product or those products, then what can we do? You know, I know Facebook isn't the be all and end all of all the social media and everything, but it is a huge, huge part of it. You know, and it is the one social media that has it all split up into groups and stuff. So you belong to a group, there's 10,000 people in there, you put in a post, it shows up on their timelines, 10,000 timelines. But if I'm not allowed to post in these places, and you know, you go and post something belonging to me in some of these groups, and then you get a mouthful. They have a go at you, tell you that they don't want my stuff in there. They don't want our posts in there. It is the most blatant discrimination I've seen in a long time. It is incredible discrimination, and they just don't care. They just do it, and there's nothing can be done. Nothing can be done unless these people are taken down. Now, if I ever got Lee Holt's address, he is one person I would put straight in court. And by putting Lee Holt in court, and I would publicise it like I did with Warren, I would publicise the fact that I'm taking legal action against Lee Holt. I would post that so other people would know that I've taken legal action against Lee Holt. And part of the legal action I would take against him would be to force him to allow me to see what these other people are saying, so that I could then put them in court. Now that side of it, that's easy because it's only 35 quid a throw to whack somebody in court that way. But it would get their attention, and it would stop them doing what they're doing, and they would maybe have to be less discriminatory if I started taking them to court for that, and for the lies and the slander and the defamation that they've done. So many lies. But it's now got to the point where it's got to the point where the members of those groups, they wouldn't know what was a lie and what was the truth. So many lies have been told, nobody would know what the truth is, what the lies are, you know, and you can't fight that. You can't fight that. When people are that evil, when people are that nasty and that vindictive over the fact that they don't like the way that I run my business. That's what it came down to. They just don't like the way you run your business. So I'm just gonna do everything I can to make life hard for you and cost you as much money as possible and stop people trading with you. I mean, you know, you remember when Warren got in touch with the guy that I bought the silver bars off? I do a deal with a guy that makes silver bars and started getting those silver bars. Then Warren and his chums get involved and they start talking about assaying and how I'm breaking this law and that law. And it was all lies. It was all bollocks. So much bollocks. But it confused people. Oh, they're talking about assays. Ian's selling silver without an assay. Ian's selling this without, and it was all bollocks. It was rubbish. Absolute rubbish. And you know it's rubbish. How do you know it's rubbish? You know now, but you didn't know then. How do you know now that everything they said was absolute bollocks? How do you know that? I'll tell you how you know that. Because assaying and failure to assaying and what you're supposed to assay with proper silver marks and one thing and another, this is serious stuff. It's so serious that you'd go to prison. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Yeah, pinch, pinch. Yeah, that's me. I can feel that. Pinch. Yeah, that's me. I'm still here. I'm still here 2 years after they spouted all those lies. Three years after they spouted all those lies, 2, 3 years after they spouted all those lies about the assaying and about not being allowed to sell silver, and Ian's doing this illegal and Ian's doing that illegal and it's really bad and putting people off. Why have I not had a policeman come and arrest me? Why has nobody come knocking on my door and said, Mr. Lambert, we need to arrest you for all this dodgy dealing that you're doing, that you're not allowed to do because it's all illegal. We're going to take you to court, prosecute you, and send you to prison. Why has none of that happened? It's not like they haven't had the time, have they? Why hasn't it happened? That's all you've got to ask yourself. Just look in a mirror and ask yourself, hey, why hasn't Ian been nicked? Remember all the stuff that was going on about not letting all the assaying and the silver marks and all of this stuff? Why hasn't Ian been arrested? Because he wasn't doing anything illegal. Ian knew what he was doing and he was acting within the law. But these people, they shit up the silversmith so much with all of their lies and rubbish. They shit him up so much that he blocked me on Messenger and would have nothing to do with me. And the only contact I had with him was on Messenger. And he, from that day to this, he would have nothing to do with me. I gave him over 2 grand's worth of business, but they shit him up so much, he just blocked me and would have nothing to do with me. All from the lies that they told. And I have the gloating emails from Warren letting me know, ha 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 ha, the silversmith's never going to sell to you again. Ha 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 ha. I've made sure of that. Aren't I big? Aren't I clever? And so many people bought into that. So I have to hold my hands up and say, the fault is mine. I've made some bad decisions. I have tried to fight my corner, obviously in the wrong way. And I can only fight my corner for a little bit longer. I think the worst for me, was losing my dad and having the piss ripped out of me for that. And losing John. And having the piss ripped out of me for that too. At the time, they died or were dying. And I don't think I'll ever forgive them for that. I don't think there'll ever be space in my heart to forgive those people. Evil is as evil does. No different to the Forrest Gump thing. Stupid is as stupid does. Evil is as evil does. I didn't want people, because once I go, that's me. I won't be on any social media. I won't be on any nothing. That'll be me done. I'll just be crawling away in a corner somewhere, and I won't have anything to do with anybody. And I've tried to avoid that because I want to see things through. I want to be able to pay people back. And the only way you can pay any of those people back is to fight, is to not give up. And no matter how much water comes in the boat, you just got to keep trying to get it out again. That literally is all you can do. But if, whilst you're doing it, whilst you are fighting like mad for both lots of people, you have some of these people turning a hose on and purposefully filling up the boat. You're on a losing battle. So there we are. Anyway, I've done a 2-hour update. I can't give you any more of an update than that. I don't know what else to do. I'll keep going for as long as I can keep going, because these people have put money in. And forgive me for saying this. This is a message to these people. Forgive me for saying this, but if I'm going to concentrate on anybody at the moment, I've got to concentrate on these people that have helped, these people that have helped to try and save you your money that other people were damaging. I don't know what I'm going to do. All I know is if you have a bit of room left in your heart and you have a few bob left in your pocket, then the ways in which you can support us are using the raffle site, tgbchprizes.com, buying the TGBCH coins off the Great British Coin Hunt, supporting the stream, and there isn't much else. And I have proven that TGBCH coins can and will go up in money. Whether I stay in business or not, they will go up in value, and they will continue going up in value because they are so limited and because they are a collectible commodity that is now out there. And people will buy and sell those for many years after I've died. And me and you are gone. They are a collectible commodity now, no different to collectible Marmite jars. That will be, this Marmite jar will have a value in 20 years' time, in 5 years' time, as it's got a value today. And just like McDonald's toys and anything else with a value, programs and so on, our coins will have a value, and they have sold for as much as 80 quid. I shit you not. They have sold for us now, not enough, obviously not loads. If 200 had sold at 80 quid, I'm sure there'd be a clamber for getting hold of more. But I can tell you that up to now, I know at least a dozen coins that have sold for that kind of money, if not close to 2 dozen. Now, considering, if you remember ages ago when we first started doing it and we was getting all the abuse from Warren and his chums and everything else, these coins will never be worth a tenner. Do you remember that? Well, I've proven all those people wrong. I've proven to myself and to you that you can invent a collectible commodity. Anybody could do that. Any one of you that make things, if you make something and just decide, right, from now on, I'm only going to make 100 of that particular design, and I'm going to put a little card with it as a COA to say, then, and make it a limited edition, then your product will go up in value. As the years go by, your product will go up in value. Right? What's his chops that made the chairs? What's the bloke name that made the chairs? The Chippendale, or whatever his name was, right? Chippendale. Did he make the chairs, or was that a stripping group? Anyway, he made the chairs. They weren't worth a fortune when he made them. They're worth a fortune now, 100 years after he's dead. Now you'd be grateful to have one of those big chunky chairs in your dining room, wouldn't you? As I would, an original. But they were only worth the price of a chair when he made them. TGBCH coins are worth the price of a coin. They come boxed. We've got to that stage where we have got the finished, perfect product, if you like. The COA fits just nicely inside the top. I thought I had one there. Just nicely inside the top, with the coin in the box, beautifully presented. You can't lose the COA if it's in the box, behind the little bit of ribbon. And that is now the right product at exactly the right price it should be at for that product. Remember, it costs £3 to post with a box. So it's right everywhere. It just now needs more. It needs to be marketed. It needs more people knowing about it. And if it continues being hidden from the collectible market that's out there, then it will never do any good. If somehow, some way I can get it into that collectible market, then it will do some good. The only way at the moment I can think of doing that is latching onto this other raffle site where they already have a couple of thousand people interested in raffles with coins and so on, and put more and more of my coins up there so that other people get to see it. But I've completely given up on Facebook advertising and getting into groups and that kind of stuff. Completely given up on that. People sharing, there's one or two people do a little bit of sharing, but not much. There were, we was doing thousands and thousands of shares a week, not anymore. So that's where we are. I cannot be more honest. I said to you that I will go in and out of insolvency. I will be so honest, I show you the insides of my arse. But I cannot be any more straight and honest with you as I've been for 2 hours. And I'm sorry about that. Still, beats a 5-hour stream, doesn't it? Which is what they used to be. And maybe I'll just do what other people do, give up on the old coin business, give up on everything else, and just do videos moaning about life and politicians. I don't know. The only other thing left for me to do now, which excuse me 1 second, which I have some belief in, but when you've had various ideas and they haven't worked and so on, you get to a point where you just don't believe in yourself anymore. And I'm there. I mean, I don't know if I can believe in myself even. I come up with an idea. Is it a bus to Abilene, or is it a good idea? I don't know. I've convinced myself, whether that's a good or a bad thing, I have convinced myself that if I got a little shop, a retail unit, that could make the difference, because I'm in a seaside town and I just have this feeling that the partner of somebody that's on holiday is likely to say, "Oh, coin shop, why don't you treat yourself? We're on holiday. Why don't you treat yourself? Go and have a look. Why don't you treat yourself?" So I think you've got that. Therefore, people could come in. They could buy whatever other coins I've got, but I'd have all my own TGBCH coins boxed in there. they may very well be buying TGBCH coins, taking them back to Liverpool or Manchester or wherever they've come from. But at the same time, I also believe that there would be people locally that collect coins that would come into the shop to see what it's all about, and that may start collecting the TGBCH coins, a bit like the Pandora business. You know, the Pandora? If you've seen those Pandora shops, you've got all these Pandora charms and all the rest of it. You go in a Pandora shop, you're not seeing wall-to-wall product. You go in a Pandora shop, there is more space than there is product. There is a little bit of product around a fair amount of product around the cash tills, under the grass and all that, around the cash tills. And then you have various stands with a few bits of product on it, here, there, and everywhere in the shop, right? Like plinths with something on top of it. So much wasted space in a Pandora shop because they specifically only sell their own Pandora stuff. Now, I sort of think that that would work with TGBCH coins, because if you could get a local clientele, what would happen is that local clientele would regularly come back to see what the latest coin is. And I also realise, and I might have realised this too late, the designs for the TGBCH coins, I've gone too mental. I've gone too broad. No one's fault but mine. It's not me blaming any of the designers' faults or anything like that. It's not them. It's me, right? But I shouldn't have come up with so many different ideas. What we should have done was stick to some kind of genre. I don't know what genre, but stick to a kind of genre. For example, if you're going to do remembrance coins, just do remembrance coins. Do a coin for everybody that's ever died. Go back. Clark Gable, Rock Hudson, Charlton Heston, you know, all the old ones. And as soon as somebody dies, boom, there's a coin. As soon as somebody dies, boom, there's a coin. If you stuck to just remembrance, you've got a market there for remembrance, right? And your market is twofold. One, it's the people that are interested in that particular person. Two, it's the people that once they, not everybody does it, but once some people buy into something, then they carry on collecting it. So that's one thing I could have done. And there are lots of different ones, like you could have gone into vehicles, you could have gone into just transportation, whatever. But I think if I'd have stuck to a genre of some description, instead of being so broad with the designs, in a way, it's like trying to be too much like the Mint, isn't it? You know, you're doing broad designs. 1 minute you're doing children's stuff, the next minute you're doing the bloke who invented television, the next minute you're doing, you know, Catherine the Great, the next minute you're doing Boadicea. It's just all over the place. And I've done exactly the same thing, and I don't think that's worked. What I would do now, if I was able to get a shop, and if I did get a shop, what I would need to do is I would need some kind of help in order to help run that shop, so that I don't have to be confined to the shop every single day. I would need to figure that out, whether that would be on a part profit share with just the sales of the shop with that person, so that we have a little bit of something together each and they've got something to work for, or whether or not they're employed, I don't know. But what I was thinking was to stick to some kind of local theme, at least try that for a while, because having started going around the shops and talking to people and trying to put my coins in different shops in town and places, the one thing I find is people saying over and over and over and over again, you know, anything with Weymouth on it, Weymouth, Portland and surrounding areas on it, tends to sell well to the visitors, because it's the one thing that you want to do when you go away. When you go away, you want to buy something from the place. It's like a reminder, isn't it? A human thing or whatever, but we tend to do that kind of thing. You know, will buy something from Spain, not because we want the something, but because it's, oh, get that, remind us of our trip in Spain and all the rest of it. And it could be a tacky ornament that you end up having on the side for 15 years. But it's because of that, you know? Anyway, I have to go. 2.5 hours. It's far too long. So, I don't think there is, but I'm going to put it out there anyway. Anyway, I certainly know, I know for a fact that these people don't want to help me anymore. That I know. I don't hold it against them. Any of you that might watch this video, I don't hold that against you. I don't blame you. These people, I can't see that any of you will want to put in your hand in your pocket anymore, because I think you've done enough. Nobody could blame you for that. Absolutely not. Applauded for that. If anything else, you have done so much to help me, and I am so grateful. If on the other hand, there's some of you sitting there with, I don't know how to put this, with some spare money that you would be okay at throwing at this last fucking ditch idea of getting a shop, because I don't think I would need that much. In fact, if I hadn't have done the show and I'd have put that £7 towards a shop, I'd have had more of a return, and I could have got a good shop for that £7, and that would have paid 3 months rent in advance, at least, if not 6. That was a stupid thing to do under the circumstances. Should have gone for the shop first. And so if you want to go with me on the shop, I can't believe I'm saying this, but if you want to go with me on the shop, the memberships are still up there. That is the only thing, as the only record, the only way I've got of being able to take money and have a record of that money for you and for me as any kind of investment or loan or whatever. If you wanted to help me with a shop, go and get the investments and buy whichever ones you could afford or want to be able to help me with, and I will put that money towards a shop. There are a few shops in town. I would like to try one, but I would need the money to be able to do it, and I need at least 2 or 3 grand to even walk in there and have them take me seriously. 5 would, if I could magically raise 5 or 6 grand, that would cover me for 6 months. I know it would, and we would have another crack at the whip of making TGBCH stuff successful, as well as I would sell other coins in there as well. And another thing I'm doing is I'm cleaning coins. I'm literally, can you see, these are bunts, right? But can you see how shiny they are, these coppers at the bottom here, right? Well, I can take all of those, which are, that's a load of half p's, old half pennies, right? And they're all dark. Can you see how dark they are? They're all dirty, and I can turn those into those. But I just don't know what kind of time I've got. Now, if I was doing that kind of thing and producing a sheet, which is up on the wall in a shop to somebody that's coming in, you know, then the 40, 50 quids, I might also be talking out my ass. And if anybody leaves a comment to say you're just talking out your ass, I won't delete it. I'm at that point now. Okay, I have to go. It's been 2.5 hours. I am so sorry. But I needed to be as honest as I could be, just me and you talking to the camera, as I've done before, and with nobody else here, just to see. Got to pick Kaspa up at 4:30 and get my boy. Lots of love to everybody out there. There's love out my bucket for all you people, and all you people too. There's no discrimination there. And once again, I wasn't slagging these people off. I was just saying it as it is. It's almost like the elephant in the room. I'm just saying it as it is, truthfully, and acknowledging, right? Acknowledging where I've gone wrong, acknowledging the fact that I've lost so much support, acknowledging the fact that I've just lost the support, regardless of whether that's my fault or somebody smashed my business to bits. I've lost the support, and when you lose it, it's really difficult to get it back. And I think after so many years of not being able to get it back, I've got to just call it a day. However, if I do manage to get into a shop, the one thing that I am determined to do is to set it up so that that will just be live every day. That'll be I'm able to do live TikToks and live YouTubes. So I would go in the morning, or whoever's there in the morning, and the camera would be turned on all day. It's the only way we could try and make sure also that stuff doesn't start walking out the door. Because remember, you know, I've employed people here, and while I'm ill at the start of the pandemic, they steal £100,000 worth of product from me. That was another thing that went wrong. And again, I had no control over that. I was ill. How could I control that? I wasn't even here. I was in and out of the hospital. How could I control that? They were trusted with the keys to my house to come in my house and work and go home. That's what they were trusted to do, and they stole over £100,000 worth of product from me. The last 6 years has been more than anybody should be expected to take. But anyway, if I don't fight to stay afloat, then I just have to sink. But if I sink, these people lose, and so do these. That's what I've been trying to avoid. But I'm led by you as always. Okay, I'll see you Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Thank you very much. Bit of love out my bucket. End stream.